Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. To draft this beautiful overbust inbuilt corset, we're going to be drafting our basic bodice first. So I'm going to be dividing my paper into two. You can as well divide your hip by 4 plus 2 inches to get the size of the paper for front and back. So this part is going to serve as my front pattern. I'm marking from the shoulder line, that is from the top of the paper to my hip length, after which we're going to be cutting to the length that we want. From shoulder to hip, shoulder to waist, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to bust line, and shoulder to armhole line. The armhole line is 1.5 inches above the bust line. So I will mark all of this across and then we are going to continue. Okay. Now the next I'm going to mark my neck depth and my neck width. Basically it is 3 by 3 inches, right? And then my shoulder divided by 2, which is 15 divided by 2, 7.5. The slant is 1.5 inches and I'm going to be connecting them together like this and mark my arm, my neckline, connect them together like this. Okay, so the armhole depth, I'm going to mark the same as shoulder measurement and bring it down on a straight line this way. Okay, I'll mark 3 inches from my armhole line and go in by 0.75 to tighten the armhole, and I will divide my bust of 38 by 4. It will give me 9.8 inches, 9.5 inches, and I'll connect it this way and then curve my armhole just the way you're seeing me place the curve. All right, now we're going to make progress, and that is we're going to continue with our bust span measurements. So bust span divide by 2, that is the nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2. I'll mark on the bust line and on the hip line and connect them like so. On the waist line, I'm going to mark half inch on both sides of the dart line as basic waist dart. Okay, connect to my bust point, and from the waist I'm going to mark 5 inches below to close up the dart towards the hip line. I hope this is making sense. All right, so this is my under post. From the first dart leg I'm marking 1 inch and this other part half inch. This will tighten my under post. All right, so I'll connect it with my curve to my bust point as you can see me do so. Now on the hip line, I'll mark 0.75 on both sides. This is how much I want to open the dart up on the hip line. Now we are no longer dealing with basic darts. This is what we want to do, 0.5 on both sides of the hip line. That is how much I want to open up the dart there, and I will connect it. Okay, so after we mark this, we're now going to divide all the measurements by 4 and mark, excluding the dart intake, right? And then we'll connect the mark. On the waistline, exclude the dart intake and mark your waist divide by 4 and the hip line as well. Now note that for snatching the waistline, the waist is 32 inches and we minus 2 inches from it. So what we are working with is 30 inches. This will tighten the waistline very well. Okay, so we are now going up to the upper part to tighten the over bust and make connections. We're still going to come back to the hip line to make our curve. So for the neck depth, I came down from by 1.5 inches for the neck slant here, and I'm going to slant it into the armhole as you can see. Okay, so whichever curve you think works better, you use it. So I'm using this curve and I think it's fine, whichever one you decide to use. So to tighten the upper bust, 0.75 on both sides is what I'm going to be doing. 0.75, this will tighten very well according to the bust measurement. Okay, I'll connect it to the bust points. Now I'll measure these legs and make sure that they are the same measurement, and you can see that this one is shorter, so I'll increase it. Okay, when I increase it, I'll put the two darts together and redraw the lines because they are not going to be matching up. But if we put it this way, you see that you see the difference and be able to make them match up together. Okay, so and that is what I'm doing. You can see, so I'll now use my pencil to make sure I connect them very well, just the way you can see the gap there. Connect it very well. All right, so we're done with our tightening and I'm going to be cutting this out. Remember I said we're going to style the hemline later. Oh, I forgot we have our bust dart. The difference between the front half length and the back half length. Here it is a 1.25. Okay, so we're now going to cut away every other thing that we've done. So after cutting, this is what I have. I am now going to close my bust darts. Just close it the way you've marked it. Overlap one dart leg on the other dart leg. Okay, and we'll close it and tape it down. If it is not blending on the side, just add a little paper and blend it up. But this is not an issue. All right, now for the lower part I've closed it up, and for this upper part, putting it bust line to the length, you can see that they are now matching up. I'll keep this aside and we're going to draft our bodies for the back. From the shoulder line, which serves as the height of the paper, I'm coming down to the length of my back, length of my hip minus 1.25, 1.2 inches because of the side dart intake on the front. Okay, just mark your hip line minus 1 minus your bust dart. So I'll mark my waist, my shoulder to waist, shoulder to armhole, which is the same line with the front, and I'm going to connect them as seen. I'll mark my waistline and I'll also mark my hip line as seen in this video. Now for the neck depth is 1 inch for the back, neck width the same 3 inches, and then the shoulder divide by 2. This part is not really that necessary except you're going to be having a yoke. So I'll bring down the neck, the shoulder line on a straight line, okay, and slant the shoulder by 1 inch. Remember the front was 1.5 inches and the back is 1 inch. I'll connect the neckline. So I'll divide my bust by 4 and mark it on the armhole line. I'll also divide my hip by 4 and mark. I'll divide my waist by 4 and mark, add 1 inch for that, but I'm not going to be removing this dart. So you can just ignore it. Okay, you can just ignore it. It does not really matter. So I'll divide the armhole by 2, go in by ½ inch and make my connections. Remember I said this part does not really matter if you're not going to be having a yoke. But just for guidance purpose, this is what we are doing. This is supposed to be our dart intake, dart line for the back, but I'm not still going to make use of it because it really does not matter since we're going to be having lacing at the back. Okay, now remember I added 1 inch basic dart to the back, so if you're not using the dart it is better to just remove it. So I will make this connection 2 inches on the upper part, 1 inch on the lower part. This part is going to go out to enable us lace the back properly, and then I'll mark 1.5 inches. This will serve as where the lacing bar is going to be. The size of the lacing bar is going to be 1.5 inches. After the part that we've marked out, okay, after the part that we've marked out, the lacing bar is going to be 1.5 inches. As well, it can be just whatever you desire to, but it's not supposed to be bigger and it's not fine when it is smaller than this. I hope this is making sense to you. And if you've not subscribed, please do well to subscribe to this channel and you'll have more interesting videos. Just come on here and you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn something. You can ask specific questions and I'm also going to answer you. Okay, so we are now going to style our hemline. From the waistline I went down by 4 inches. From the side I went down by 5 inches. So I'm going to use my curve. I extended it out by 1.5 inches for the hip extension. Remember that the hip is bigger than the actual hip. 1.5 inches. You can do as much as you want. Write as much as you want. And we're going to cut this out. Now for the record, I said if you're not having a dart, please minus the dart intake that I took there. The extra 1 inch dart that I added, do not add it because it's going to add to your measurements. I forgot to actually remove it while cutting. Okay, so for the front pattern, I'm going to come down the same thing I did at the front, 5 inches by the side, and the front I'm going to be doing 7 inches. At the side, I'm going to extend it the same as the back, 1.5 inches, right? I'll use my curve and connect from the waistline. From the waistline, I'll connect it, and then I'll connect it this way, making sure that the middle part is upper. You can see the way it is. Just give it any style line of your choice, but we're following what we saw in the picture, and this is what we have. So this, it depends on the height. The longer it is, the uncomfortable it becomes, but if it is just for picture purpose, you are good to go. Okay, so this is it. I'm going to cut this away now, as in open it up, and this is our front and back pattern, looking so beautifully done. And I hope you are enjoying this video. If you watch up to this part, thank you very much. Please subscribe, or going to see you in another video. You can see the way it is, minus the extra that we added, minus it all so that it will not be bigger than what you expect to have, minus the 1 inch that I added, though don't add your own. I'm still going to minus it. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Try this out and see how beautiful it's going to come out. I've put the back and front together, and this is how it is. Thank you. See you. Bye.